it's such a beautiful prayer. Yogananda Ji used to end a lot of his services with that prayer. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of my devotion, and may I be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. And I offer this to you if you ever sit down to meditate and don't feel inspired, meditate on that prayer. It's amazing how the energy will start moving in the heart, opening that heart. And it's such a pure intention if you think about it. And I've done that quite a bit over the years, is meditate on that prayer, and the meaning for it deepens. And it tells us that, first of all, you start with a love in your own heart to generate that love. And it doesn't necessarily mean having that, being in love, you know, that warm puppy dog feeling, you know, of falling in love. Because many of us are very, very busy right now, and we've got so much on our plate, and we tend to be in our heads so that we can get everything done. And we say, love, what is love? And the Holy Ones say, guess what? Wanting to love is loving. It goes back to intention. So just getting in the heart and say, I intend to love, because we are love. We really can't be anything else. It's the human vehicle that we take on, or the consciousness we take on, that's limiting. So this prayer invites us to get back to the truth of who we are. And, you know, Tom and I often speak about what's going on in our lives in relation to all this, because that's where we work. I'll speak for myself. This is where I work. And so being with this prayer, because Yogananda Ji's Mahasamadhi anniversary was the 7th, and Sri Yukteswar's, his guru, was yesterday, the 9th. So they've both been on my consciousness. And I also thought of what Mother Teresa said, because when people went to her and they said, oh, I want to do what you're doing. I want to heal the sick and save and contribute to lifting the poor and yada yada. And she said, great, glad to hear it. Start in your own family. And I don't know. It's like, I really wanted to go to India, you know. I don't want to start my own family. But I had the opportunity to actually do that this week. My sister Flossie and I flew out on Monday to visit our mom, whose birthday was Tuesday, but also to see what she was doing, how she was physically, and to support our youngest sister, who has been taking care of her. Now, how many people in the room are taking care of or supporting or have a parent or a relative that now the table has switched, right? Right? It's an interesting thing. And then Marcia mentioned she mentioned Mercury in retrograde, which is communication, right? And then needing to review how we communicate. And I really got it. You know, speaking of May Thy Love Shine, I realized, okay, everything that I say is going to come from here, not from here. And that was my intention in going back, because I was a little reticent to go back, only and especially because I needed my space, right? I used to being by myself. Anyway, so in a big house full of family, didn't know how that would go. So I said, all right, well, the most thing is I'll speak from my heart. And went into it with all the love and see, and you know what? It was so beautiful. If you look at Mercury in retrograde, and then also Saturn, the great teacher, and look at this in your life. We're being taught, if we really look at Saturn's in retrograde, it's going to be for a while, I think till June, right? July. Yeah, first. So the great teacher is teaching us how to evolve, take that next step, and it's bringing everything up that's inviting us to show us where either we can be the teacher or we need to learn. So aware of that, I went to. And you know what I found? It was amazing. So my family, I was raised in Jersey, born in Philly, raised in Jersey. I found people willing to shift.
In Jersey?
Yeah. Oh. Not on the turnpike. That was shift turnpike. No, you know, I really did, and I'm sure it was because of my intention to shift. You know, I could have easily, the little ego in my head would be saying, well, you've been doing so much work for so long, you know, inviting me to coast a little bit. And say, well, you know, you've done the work, just show up. It was dig deep. So when I came from a place of love and listening, I realized that it really is true that everybody, what they're saying, when people talk to us, they're really either saying please or thank you. And especially when it comes out angry or resentful, they're saying, please, I'm hurting somewhere. Listen to me. I may not even know why I'm lashing at you or why I'm upset or angry. But when I listened, not that there was fighting or anything, there wasn't, but previous to this, you know, one of our family members was calling for help, and I didn't realize it because the way she was calling put me on defense. So I took the defenses down, and I sat and said, what do you need from me? And that made all that, I really heard what she needed, ignored the way she said it. By the time I got home, she wasn't angry or upset or hurt anymore because she was feeling listened to. And I sat down and just kept saying, wow, okay, I got it. Talk to me. How can I support you? I'm going to be here with you. And the fears came up. People, when your fears come up and their fears come up, pay attention. I think Derek O'Neill said this a couple of weeks ago. He said, when you're making decisions, realize who's making the decision, your inner child, your fearful self, or your empowered self. And we can do that when we're talking to people. Who's talking to us? And how are we responding? Are we responding from our higher self or from our fear? And there were times there were conversations that I was talking to people, they were talking to me from their fear. Then I was able to address the fear and say, you know what, I understand that this is fearful. I'll do whatever I can to stand next to you and walk you through this. I'm not going to let you back up because then I wouldn't be your sister. I wouldn't be your daughter. I wouldn't be your relative. But I will walk you through your fear and do this. Don't go backwards. Face it. This is time. Because we know in this Piscean stellium we're in this infinite field of possibilities. This infinite, right here, right now. It looks like all hell is breaking loose. But for the conscious person, it's infinite possibilities, and every moment is a chance to do what we do instead of, if you look, I love that word, if you look at it, reaction. Saying something from habit or doing something from habit, reacting, or you say rethinking or responding, or being in the moment and answering or listening or acknowledging a whole new way of doing it. So that's what my week was like. And I'm really inspired by the shift. I chose the whole time that I was there to look, and we got together, Flossie and I. Flossie's my sister, for those of you who don't know, and she's this beautiful master teacher here at the Soul of Yoga. And we did a night together, yoga and spirit voyage. And her community that she had there when she had her studio, they all turned out en masse. We were so happy to see Flossie again. And I saw the big thing what they said afterwards is they said, thank God you came back because we needed to be reminded. We forgot. Their mama had moved away. She came back and reminded them that they were divine beings. And they said, thanks for God, we needed it. And they were re-empowered. And I was so inspired about how many people want their divine love to shine forever and to let their love awaken in all hearts. You know, and I also have to say that the other piece of this for me, and it's sort of public confession, because when I'm kind of an independent spirit, I don't need a lot of, sort of self-contained. And that was a little unnerving for my mother when I was growing up, because I didn't need her once I, hit 11 or 12. Thanks, Mom, but I don't need you anymore. I got it, I got it, And my mom, but I want to help you. So and then the more she tried to come in, the more I pushed her away. So I realized I wasn't always really nice to my mom because I was pretty clear about putting boundaries. And then, so I decided to just listen to my mom, just be with my mom. She's not healthy. She's got a little dementia. And for some people, the dementia can be very frustrating, and I saw that. I saw people getting frustrated when she didn't remember something when they had just told her. And I said, you know what, all right, I'm going to try. That doesn't work. So let's try being with her in the moment and taking a breath. And so that would happen. And you know what, I realized my mother is amazing. The dementia when I gave her just love and acknowledged every little effort she made to love, I thought, you are so sweet, Mom. I'm so sorry for all those years when I wasn't. But I made the determination that from now to whenever the end of her life or my life, whichever ends first, that I'm just going to spend the rest of my life appreciating all of the love and the nurturing and the sweetness that she is, and carry that forward as a legacy to my daughters and to my grandchildren, and just appreciate the good. And I realized how life so changes, because I'm not the caregiver, but I remember my mom zipping up my coat and putting sunscreen on, and the loving way she sent us off to school with our lunches, and here we are helping her. She can get dressed by herself, but I had to walk her, and we have to make her meals, and now it's completely shifted. And I thought, if I can only give her half of the devotion that she gave me, that I remember when I was little, and let her end her life the way that she let me begin mine, that's what I'm being called to ask. And it's going to take patience, and it's going to take all the love in my heart. But I'm committed to do it. If you're in my community, I'm telling you, and if you have a parent who needs you to take a breath and just to restart every moment, to restart with them. Let's take care of our elderly. Let's get beyond ourselves, because that's Saturn teaching us to let our love shine forever. And may we awaken thy love in our hearts. And if we can surround the people that are in our circle with that kind of love, we will have a tremendous impact, and we will live Yogananda's prayer.
And then just maybe that legacy could leak over to the husband.
Wait, I have to tell you something. Tell us something.
I had an interesting experience because last night Trisha came home really late, so I was like dead away in our bed. And
he had earplugs in.
I had earplugs in and everything. And I woke up, I guess, right when she was coming in, or she was in the bed. And I swear, because I was 25 years solo in a bed as a monk, right? And I think I was somewhere there, because when I woke up, oh!
He said, "There's a woman in my bed."
Now that's it could have been either two things, that I dreamt about that a lot when I was a monk, or maybe that was it. I don't know.
But the other thing he did, as I was saying, it's really 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, or 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was. He said, why? And I said, because we're moving our clocks forward. And he goes, nobody told me. Nobody told me. I said, oh.
But, stay open. I mean, seriously, that all those years, I wasn't in the ashram and the plan to leave the ashram. After 25 years, you kind of think, all right, I'm in. That's a good bit of investment to make in a certain type of lifestyle, right? So I considered myself a lifer. I mean, that was going to be my lifestyle. And so really, truly, that's, you know, but it was now, where I am now, it was just such appreciation. You know, when oh, there's a woman in my bed. Ah, sweetie, ah! Because that's where the divine is leading me, you know? And the residence doesn't matter. It's what's in the heart. And I tell you, I left for one reason, to keep my heart with God. Stay or leave. As my mentor, monk, older brother, monk, told me before I left, he said, it's not going to matter. You stay or go. You're going to be a success no matter where you go. And, you know, it's kind of like another lineage, isn't it? That's kind of like another legacy. That every time you stay in your heart, every time you can stay true to your heart, that you are passing that on, that vibration of that omnipresent love, really, to those around you, to those who have gone before you, and those who are going to come after you. You are passing on something very, very special. And, you know, can you imagine what it would be like, what it can be like to live without filters? And without, you know, how many, I don't know how many we got in the brain, like someone says something and so it goes through the analytical computer, maybe, for you, I don't know. And then what about the filters in the heart with feelings? So you get a resonance of vibration from what you just heard or saw, and then so you have the two filters, basically, the head and the heart. And each one can go like lickety-split really fast, whether you're liking what is being said or you don't like. And that's something of your creation, because it may be really genuine, well, constructive criticism or wisdom coming through, and someone may really love you, and they're just telling you straight from their heart without trying to make you wrong at all. But those filters can be a little whacked out, the head filters and the heart filters, and even in the heart, because what we bring into this lifetime, we bring in all of our emotional experiences. You know, that's why it's just not fair in a relationship or with the one mother or the one parent that we kind of look at only that picture. Because if there's some kind of irritation or rubbing, or maybe there's beautiful harmony, it's because you have worked through so many countless mothers and fathers being on both sides of it, the dad, the child, and a friend relationship, and on and on and on, that you've come to that point where it's all about the one. It's all about every relationship is as important as any other. And you understand, too, that if you get angry, that poor partner of yours is receiving the anger of your lifetimes. It's not just the anger, wah! It's because of this backlog. I mean, how long? I've been with Tricia 13 years since I left the ashram, right? That's nothing. Some of you have been married 40, 50 years. That's nothing compared to the lifetimes that you have spent. So it's kind of not fair to each other, both people, or in humanity, in relationship, to really get on each other's case because of this backlog of karma. And, you know, if there was to be one quality cultivated now, I think, too, in this new day, where we're learning to live in the heart, and we're learning to see how beautiful everyone really is, once we can get past those filters that have been kind of skewing the picture for us, right? Or they're still up and we can't really see that person, is this one quality is called patience. It's called patience. I mean, I think it's number one. And you know, in the Hindu philosophy, they have these things called lokas, or spheres of existence. So like creation is at a very out loka, because it is as far away from that oneness in the supreme, invisible, divine consciousness spirit. And each loka gets more refined until there's just the final loka, which once you have mastered that, or in that consciousness, you go home. You go home into infinity. And you know what that final loka is? Patience. Yeah, so if you work from the inside out, if you work from the end in mind, as you being already in spirit now, right? You just don't know it, or you haven't had the patience to place your hand a lot on your heart like this and realize that the most important thing today is for me to put my consciousness in my heart. Not out there, not with my duty list, not with what problems I'm going to solve or just the fun I'm going to have or just the leisure. But really, the duty of me today is that my consciousness goes into my heart. Why? So that you can see the things that are stopping your consciousness from identifying with love that's in your heart. Just like she saw the love in her mom all those years. Her mom was just giving love from her heart, but the filters didn't let her see it, right? And if we're going to get through the filters that we have kind of around this heart, or the defenses, or sometimes barbed wire, right? Stay out is the message that sometimes we send to people. Stay out. I've been hurt enough. Don't get near me, right? I'm not going to go through this again. Heart's tender. It's very tender, and yet it's very resilient as well. Our first obligation then is to ourselves, and to become aware. How am I even relating to love? How am I even relating to the presence that's all around me and in you and me? Am I even cognizant of it? Am I even care about it really? And so these first steps are going to demand insane patience. Any of you who are counselors, any of you who are social workers, any of you or whatever that deal with people, even massage therapists. I'm sure there's some of you that hear a lot of stories if you're with people who come to you as massage therapists. Dentists hear stories, you know. We all hear stories because of what? The please and the, what was the other one?
Thank you.
Thank you. The two things that were oozing out. Please help me, or thank you. Right? But the point I'm trying to make is that you can be that person. You can be that someone who is holding a space, who is holding a space for filters to drop away, starting with yourself, with patience. Because a lot of people in my counseling come to me, why is this happening, you know? I'm going through this, and yet I'm just still miserable, right? Or I've been practicing meditation now for a whole 6 months, right? And then they have this crazy idea of where they should be at with their meditation. Or I've just been struggling. I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired of struggling on the spiritual path, right? It seems like such hard work. And there's no patience with the big picture that you and I are here to burn up the karma of the backlog. Sure. Sure. That's why it's not that easy when you close your eyes to understand that love's being pumped in with every inhale breath, and joy of spirit with every inhale breath. And why wouldn't we be drunk today with the joy and love of God? It's because of that backlog of karma. Because it's so strong, that karma, that some of you might even say, I don't even believe that. I don't believe that I could close my eyes and a breath comes in and I feel the joy of God. That's your karma, baby. That's not you. Because you are that joy of God. You are the love of God already. Already. So do you see how deep the filters go? So see how many layers are there before you can even get into the ballpark of faith and patience? I mean, like real faith, like right now, today, I can be in ecstasy if I was patient enough to be with every breath and faithful enough with every breath, that every breath, God, you are loving me. Every breath, unconditionally, every time I inhale, I am so loved. You try that sometime. And then be super patient when you get restless. Or when you say, I'm going to give it 2 minutes. Right? Or the phone goes off and you grab the phone. Right? We're talking about a commitment of unconditional to this word patience now. Because if the divine wanted you to have the divine experience or a higher, better purpose, or to get out of your pain, you'd be out of it. Because the divine is joy. The divine is perfect health. The divine is shiny light. And so are you. So if you're impatient, what you're doing is saying, no, I'm not ready to heal. I have my own ideas. And usually they're not so positive. So look at it this way. Pain. Or some of this karmic baggage that we're carrying, meaning that I just been trying since I was 4 years old, so to speak, example, to overcome this certain habit that I just had as young as I can remember. Maybe it was an anger thing. I certainly had that to deal with. One of them, anyway. And what if now I'm so many years going along the road journey of life, and that thing's still around, right? It's still around. Well, here's a suggestion then for those kinds of things that just don't seem to go away. And your mind is just like imploding, right? That's when you feel overwhelmed. That's when you get depressed. That's when you feel like, God, you know, I can't keep struggling like this, trying to change to the better. It just, I'm not going to change. Then you get that super negativity, right? And as soon as you give up, then it gets worse. That struggle of giving up is like nightmare while living in a body on planet Earth. So here's a suggestion. When we say, you know, embrace what is, when we say healing is the application of love to the parts that hurt, and you hear that, you go, oh, wow, that might be a possibility for me. So you have people, and they hear that, and they close their eyes. And then all of a sudden, all they do is pull up the pain, right? They pull up the pain. What had happened is, and then they pull up the pain first, and then they say, now I'm going to embrace it, I'm going to accept it. No way, Charlie, are you going to be able to come close. Because that pain body is part of that backlog of the karma that we're bringing in. It's the pain of all of your experiences. You can't come near it on your own. So, and for most people, it's what I need to get rid of now in my life. I am super uncomfortable about this divorce. You know, I am super uncomfortable. In fact, you're probably feeling that, you know, I wasn't all that wrong, was I? Or maybe I was, right? But you're not feeling so good about yourself. But that is uppermost. That's like the thing that you're dwelling on all the time. So whatever is going on, as mentioned, filters or blockages to the fact that right now, every breath you're in the light, every breath you are unconditionally loved, every time you exhale, your soul is giving out such joy. It really is. It really is, because you're a soul that temporarily has a body. You're not a body that's permanent and then temporarily has a soul. It's the other way around. So let's just take the pain body and all that, and with patience say, okay, it will go away if I do this that I'm going to tell you now. All right? Put it to the side. Try not to make the thing that you want to have happen for you first in your consciousness. There's really one way to go about this. Okay? What you really need is more joy and more love and more light. And more love and more joy and more light. And more love and more joy and more light. And you build up that light body. And the pain body, you're doing the best not to make it the focus of your life, for heaven's sake. So get busy showing up to your yoga classes. Get busy showing up to people in your life that you go, wow, that's a positive vibration, this person, but I still have my friends that are the low vibe. Well, get busy showing up to the high vibe people. When I do this particular thing, it's not the best thing. We'll do less of that and more of the things that really empower your light body, you see, because the more you build that up, then pretty soon that's your focus. And these big pain things, or life issues, or habits, or addictions, they get smaller and smaller, like a little black dot on this beautiful white, clean white background, just these little black dots. Now you can put that quote to good practice. Healing is the application of love to the parts that hurt. Because now through your patience and diligence over the years, or whatever it's going to take, you don't have a frame on it. It's just what you do to get into your heart. It's what you do, first and foremost. And it's more important if, let's say, some of you are getting ready to get married, or some of you are getting ready for a big career change. Some of you are getting ready to, move somewhere, and it's kind of exciting, or maybe there's some trepidation around it. And that is the first thing in your heart. That's what you're thinking about. What if that became secondary too? And while you're in the process of this thing called change, which is all that's going to happen here on this planet Earth is change, that you kind of have a changeless attitude that, no, I am going to need a lot of love and light. Tricia was so successful in her visit home to her mom, and her younger sister this time because she outpictured so much light and love before she arrived there. She shored up, man. And that's her mom. You should see what I do for a 2-hour visit with my mom. I've been working 44-something years to be able to hold the light for 2 hours with my mom. But I'm patient. I'm patient. I am never going to give up that until I can go to 3 hours with my mom and be able to hold the space. She was like 5 days. I wouldn't dream of that. I don't go overnight. So tank up with the breath and the faith, and now the new determination that you're unconditionally patient to do the thing that each of you have come here to do. May thy love shine forever on this sanctuary. Is your heart a sanctuary? Is it? Of my devotion. Is this idea of you receiving love with an inhale and giving love with an exhale, is that an exciting idea? Could that be a possibility? Or is that not practical for you? Because Trish mentioned that you're also busy, right? But what kind of quality is your busy? Eh? If you're forgetful of source and light and love, there's only one road and one destination you're heading towards, and that's misery. Because this universe will not put up, and yet it does because it still exists. It won't put up in a favorable way with people who tarry and want to stay in the ignorance. It's a nightmare. However, if you choose, like I'm talking about, to build this amazing, amazing field of light and love, keep making investments every day and putting it into your soul bank. That's every time you take a breath in your heart of faith and know that you're receiving love. And every exhale you can feel like your love is going out, whether you feel like it is or not. That effort of one breath at a time, pretty soon you get rich. You get rich, and all of a sudden you find that you could go home to your parents. You can go home and do this and that, and be able to hold the space that Tricia did, so her mom completely had a shift. And her little sister completely had a shift.
No, I had a shift.
Yeah. But I bet
and then
you
they shifted.
Yeah.
No,
you
we
did.
bonded.
You were the shift. That's what I said about you
created
tanking up
shift.
before you went and out picturing. You shifted your attitude. All right? So, can you put your left hand on your hearts, everybody, just for a moment? Enough yakking about this. And I'm just going to close with this 3 or 6 breath idea. And just, if you want to get an idea of your curriculum, you'll have it in 3 or 6 breaths, probably 3 breaths. As you just say to yourself, I'm going to focus on the incoming divine love, how much I'm loved, and the exhaling of how much my soul loves. Just do that for 3 breaths. And then just gently let your eyes float open, and whatever it was, whatever it wasn't, whatever you experienced, whatever you didn't experience in that is your curriculum. Because the truth of the matter is you are a God heart. You are an infinite being of unconditional love. So until you can close your eyes, and within 3 breaths, go into that state of infinite joy and love. That's why you need the patience, okay? Love you all.